Our prayer to Mother Sita. On this occasion, we pray to Mother Sita to bless us to become pure-hearted servants like Hanuman, Lakshman and Mother Sita herself, and to save us. Whatever Ravana-like demoniac tendencies we have, let them be vanquished by her mercy, by her will, so we may continue in our devotional service without any impediment and ultimately attain pure love or Prema, our ultimate goal. There is more love in separation than in union, for in union the beloved is found in one place only, while in separation the beloved is found everywhere. Braja poet Nandadas. On Mother Sita's banishment, one cannot estimate the influence of Ramayana on India's culture and art, or its importance to the panorama of India's religious and spiritual traditions. Rich in the teachings of ancient Hindu sages, the Ramayan's 24,000 Sanskrit verses follow the life of the Vishnu avatar Lord Ram, from his childhood as a prince of Ayodhya to his youth amongst the sages, his marriage to Sita, their exile to the forest, the kidnapping of Sita to Lanka, the rescuing of Sita and their triumphant return to Ayodhya. But then, Ram, who had throughout the epic professed his unending love for Sita, upon hearing an ordinary washerman's doubts about Sita's chastity during her captivity in Lanka, banishes Sita from the kingdom? For the reader, having endured the ample sorrow of their separation due to the kidnapping, Sita's banishment is not only heartbreaking, but can also be the source of confusion or even enmity towards Lord Ram. How could Lord Ram, the embodiment of all virtue, who had pined for Sita in her absence and risked so much to retrieve her, suddenly become so callous and cruel? This question has been the subject of debate for millennia, and in the minds of some can overshadow all the beauty, wisdom and adventure that precedes it. Here is the answer for the mystery behind Mother Sita's banishment by His Holiness Radhanath Swami. His answer deals with the subject of Vipralamba Bhava, or the spiritual emotion of love felt in separation from the beloved. His Holiness Radhanath Swami says, "There is a place called Chitrakoot, a beautiful forest on the banks of the Mandakini river. I once met a great saint there named Balaram Maharaj. He was a devotee of Lord Ram. I happened to ask him a question. What is the justification for Ram banning Sita to the forest? He told me something that was so deep and so esoteric that it cannot be fully appreciated by those who are looking at things merely at an external, superficial level. So one may or may not appreciate this answer, but it completely fulfilled my heart. Vipralamba means separation, and separation intensifies the experience of love. Just like in music, compare how many songs there are about being happy together to the number of songs about having a broken heart. Why is it that there are so many songs about the pain of separation? Because music is an art, and art is an expression, and the expression of love in separation is very deep absorption. When somebody is with us, we are absorbed in a certain way. But when our loved one is away, it increases our remembrance, thoughts, and absorption in that person. It is true that when one's beloved is away, one is always thinking of their beloved and searching for them. When Ram was with Sita, he was seeing her in one place. But when Ram was away from Sita and Sita was away from Ram, he would see Sita in the trees and she would see Ram in the clouds everywhere. When we are together, the love of our heart goes out towards the beloved. In separation, that love goes deeper and deeper and deeper into the very core of our heart. And it is intensified. On the spiritual platform, love is not determined by our physical proximity. Our connection to God or Ram is to the degree that we are internally absorbed in the thought of Ram. And when our love is intense, the Lord accepts it from within our heart. That love may be intense when the Lord stands before us, but it is even more intense when the Lord is not standing before us. When there is that longing, that deep, deep absorption, then the Lord is embracing us and reciprocating with us from within. So we read in the Vedas, Puranas and Bhagavatam that this love in separation is very special and deep, and that it's a direct personal relationship with God. If you have read Srimad Bhagavatam, the gopis, they are considered the highest devotees of the Srimad Bhagavatam, as their love for Krishna was so deep. Krishna lived with them for about 12 years, and then he left and went to another place. The gopis were in deep separation as Krishna was living in Dwarka, and they couldn't see him for a long time. Krishna revealed his heart and said that the reason I am separate from them is because their love in separation for me is so intense, so internalized, that their love and my reciprocation with that love in their hearts cannot be any more. If I were to stand before them, it would only interrupt the intensity of that love that we are having within our hearts for each other. Still he went, but after some time. So Sita is God. We have to understand the philosophical principle that according to Vedic Siddhanta or conclusion, God is both female and male equally. There is the Shakti, energy, and the Shaktiman, energetic source. God's female aspect as Lakshmi, Sita, Radha or Parvati is the compassionate side of God. Krishna, Ram, Narayan and Shiva are very powerful, lordly manifestations of God. The feminine aspect of God is the reservoir of love, and the masculine side of God is the ultimate object of love. And those two aspects together are God. Perhaps in Western religion, because there is so much emphasis on the masculine side of God, religious people can sometimes become very egoistic and attached to power and control. They can lose their compassionate essence. So this is one God. God is never separate. Sita and Ram can never be separate in essence. In their Leela in this world, they lived together and enjoyed love in union. But Ram wanted to experience for himself, as well as have Sita experience that even deeper, intensified experience of love in separation. In their hearts of hearts, they could never be separated. So therefore, Ram banished Sita, but in reality, he was blessing her by giving her a higher experience of internal union and he also experienced that union. So the great devotees of Ram, the great yogis, they understand it in this way. Externally, the lesson that a king should be beyond suspicion and that a leader should be willing to make sacrifices, even of him or herself, for the sake of the people, is taught through this Leela. Ram banished Sita in order to remove all doubts in him as a leader with integrity by providing that he was willing to make the greatest sacrifice, the sacrifice of the person he loved the most. Sita, being very much an integral part of everything Ram was doing for the citizens, shared in that sacrifice for the welfare of others. This is the superficial lesson from this story. It's what most people talk about when discussing this pastime, but it is only the external reason for Sita's banishment. Internally, Ram and Sita wanted to share a deeper and deeper experience of love for each other from the core of their hearts. This banishment of Sita amongst people who have gone deep into the subject matter is a very profound meditation on the loving exchange between her and Ram. This conclusion that I am speaking has been passed down for millennia, and how God and Goddess, male and female aspects, how they shared the ecstasy of love for each other, is not limited by our ability to comprehend it. This is what they choose to do, and we understand that this is what they really want to do. They go through the whole Leela in such a way that it is a very traumatic experience and brings about such emotions in all of us. Tat vignan artham sagurumeva bhigachat. To learn that transcendental subject matter, one must approach a spiritual master. Translation: to understand the essence of the scriptures, we really need to have a teacher to explain them. Otherwise, we can so easily become confused or bewildered by apparent contradictions based on how we feel it should be and all of that. So I am repeating the words of one great Guru who spoke these words to me, as in the words of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Mother Sita served under all circumstances. Sita, the consort of Lord Ram, is described as the mother of all living beings. As a mother, she nourishes all wealth, fortune, the earth, and the environment. To understand that all these are sacred gifts, which also include health and intelligence, and to use them accordingly in our lifestyles, be it banking, business, politics, or wherever it may be. This becomes yoga, a path of spiritual enlightenment. Sita was the consort of Lord Ram, who symbolizes the highest virtues. For the purpose of honor, integrity, and defending his family, Ram accepted exile to the forest for 14 years, willingly leaving behind all comforts of life to uphold these higher principles. Ravana, on the other hand, was so immensely powerful and wealthy, but had envy and selfishness breeding in his heart. Ravana felt that he had the right to do anything he wanted for his own purpose. As a result, Ravana kidnapped Sita on this path of unrighteousness. By mistreating wealth personified, Ravana lost everything. The principle of Ramayana is that these two forces are within us, the divine and the selfish natures. Real values are developed in overcoming these selfish and arrogant tendencies for the higher purpose of seva, or serving humanity and God. Chastity means loyalty, and this quality is most dear to Guru and Krishna. Mandodari has a very special place in the great history of Vedas. She is considered one of the very great examples of chastity for all women to follow. Here we find that the great acharyas are putting her in the same category as the celebrated goddesses and chaste women as Sita Devi and Draupadi. Similarly, Gandhari and Savitri, they all have their unique places. These 5 women Srila Prabhupada mentions. Sita Devi was the wife of Lord Ramchandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes and all that is. She was the very goddess of fortune, and just by being kidnapped, persecuted and tortured by Ravana, she never gave up the path of dharma. Loyalty to one's master is most pleasing quality that a person can possess. Sita Devi exhibited the super excellent quality of complete loyalty. For a woman, chastity means loyalty. Chastity means I will not give up the service, the exclusive service of my master, my husband, under any circumstance, come hell or high water, come temptation or any other of the proposals of the illusory energy. I will always remain, in life or death, the obedient, loyal servant of my master. The quality that is most dear to Krishna and Guru is the quality of loyalty. Loyalty means, under any circumstance, I will never give up the service of my master. When the spiritual master has this confidence in the disciple, then naturally he can deliver Krishna's fullest blessings into the life of his disciple. And in the example of Sita Devi, we find she was offered a kingdom made of solid gold, Sri Lanka, millions and millions of servants, and she was threatened simultaneously that if you do not accept this, you will be tortured, you will be harassed and ultimately cut to pieces. This was her choice. Either enjoy the most beautiful, opulent and wonderful kingdom in the entire creation besides that of Lord Brahma, or suffer, be tortured and die a horrible death of being eaten alive. What would you choose? Torture me, harass me, eat me, I don't mind, but Ram is my master, and I will never betray him. This is the quality of chastity. Sita Devi ki Jai! Jai!